While yoga can be a great way to stretch and work your body, it can also have a deeper connection to your whole well-being and mental health. Joining me now is Nanette, and earlier we were working on an exercise where we drew a tree and we put different attributes and we made leaves. And so then how does that connect to yoga and tree pose?
Well, tree pose is an opportunity for us to really embody what we were just thinking about, the intentions we were setting and the practices we were identifying that would help us get there. So yoga, there's a concept, a lovely concept I really like, of root down to rise up.
Ooh, I like that.
And that really connects to what we were doing with the tree and with tree pose as well.
Absolutely. Root down to, what did it say it again?
Root to rise. Root down to rise up.
Rise up. That is beautiful.
It is beautiful, and it really connects to what we were doing with the tree, where the roots, the core values, were, grounding us to rise up and create habits and practices and outcomes that aligned with us authentically.
I love that. Okay, great. So what are we going to do now?
So we're going to start actually putting our feet together.
Okay.
And really feel your weight evenly distributed between all four corners of your feet.
And you can get up and do this at home with us while you're watching. You can follow along right now.
Feel free to follow along, and if you have any issues with mobility, you can just visualize it and you'll still get some of the value. So then you want to stand up straight and sort of feel a line of energy from your feet moving all the way up through your spine and the top of your head.
Okay.
Make sure your tailbone is not sticking out, but sort of tucked under.
Okay.
We can bring our palms to heart center and bring our heart up to reach our palms. And then we're going to shift our weight into one foot. I'm shifting my weight into my left foot.
Okay.
And option number one is we just use our big toe as a little kickstand, and we can just put our foot right like this.
And while we do this, should we be thinking of one of our words or one of the intentions, or should we just be focusing on our breath?
Well, I like to really root down.
Okay.
So as you're feeling your weight distributed in your feet, imagine the roots and imagine those core values that we wrote on the roots.
Okay.
And then the option number two is you can bring your foot to your shin here. Just avoid the knee, but you can bring it to the shin.
Okay.
And then the full expression is you take your hand and you bring your foot up to the thigh. Wobbles are encouraged.
I was going to say it's also an exercise in balance.
It is an exercise in balance, but wobbling is good. And if you think about a tree, they do move. If they were rigid, a strong wind would knock them over or crack them.
That's a really good point, yeah.
So from here, we're going to grow our branches.
And these are all of the positive changes that you can make in your life.
Exactly. And so as you feel yourself in this posture, you can envision the roots with your core values, the line of energy moving up, the trunk, the branches that have the habits and the practices. Woo! And if you fall, you get right back into it. That's part of the beauty of yoga.
That is wonderful.
And what you're creating, what you're growing out of the leaves.
Right, all of the growth and opportunity and new positive things in your life.
Exactly. And I do always recommend doing both sides. So if you've done one side, then shift your weight.
Then you should balance it out.
Yes, for balance. I
was going to say, and I think so that you sort of don't feel lopsided. Now that you say that, I'm like, oh, it does feel good to do the other side. You
will find that you probably have better balance in one side than the other.
One side or the other.
Yes. For me, I started with my good side.
Gotcha. And then grow your branches.
And you can grow your branches.
And you can maybe let the leaves that are no longer serving you fall away. That was something you mentioned in the break. Yeah. You can sort of let the things that no longer serve you sort of melt out, yeah?
Absolutely. The leaves that have fallen to the ground can represent habits that no longer serve you or don't lead you towards your intention. So for me, in my example with connection, maybe isolation would have been a fallen leaf, something that I want to leave behind, or the instinct to avoid.
Right. That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing this with us. And I hope that you were able to try this exercise at home, either physically or visually, and definitely the tree exercise we worked on earlier. If you want more information, you can visit us on the web at ciLiving.tv.